stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Hello. Hello, hello. Yep, hello. And this has been a crazy day. Not crazy, but busy. I'm going to go with busy. I'm supposed to be sharing on Facebook. All right. I'll keep this one in the trudging together family. It's the thing. I'm just confused. I feel like I continue to confuse people. I mean, it's not honestly not that it really matters. It's just things like, my lives and the podcast are two separate things in my mind because I do things differently. So, but to some people, it's the same thing. So, come on, Facebook. Thank you very much. Wait for some people to show up. They probably went to the 3:00 meeting. I forgot that. I've already been to two meetings, and I've been helping people all day with the program. Just stuff's going on, man, and yeah, it's one of the reasons. I went to an in-person meeting, and yeah, we'll get to it. Oh, people are here. Let's go ahead and do introductions. Let's see. One's from YouTube and one's from the Daily Charge, so I know who's here. It's my two of my top listeners. And I'm guessing, I could be wrong. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. I'm gonna say it. I'm just gonna say it. In-person meetings in Colorado suck. They suck. No wonder our rooms are small. We're not helping each other. It kills me. I was at I'm going to say what it is. I was at Fourth Dimension 10 a.m. meeting this morning, and there was a guy in there. Hi, Patricia. Good to see you. Good evening to you. It was my other longtime listener. I have longtime listeners. That is so cool. Hey, Maurice, good to see you, man. Good to see you. But I was at this meeting, and there's a guy there, and he was asking for help. It literally came out of his mouth. I need help. One of the things that gets me about detoxes, okay, is you go to a detox here in Colorado, you go do a detox, you ask for help. And since they're not in the program, what they do is they hand you a piece of paper with some phone numbers on it. Does that feel right? Does that feel like it's support? It doesn't, does it? Then why in the fuck are we doing it at AA meetings? No, you're not in another rewatch. This is live. This is live. If I answer your questions, yeah, it's live. Yeah, see, it gets confusing. I was just talking about how I think I'm confusing people more, but if you think you're confused, hey, I brought on another place. Salvation Army is loving what we do. Yeah, love what we do. So I'm in this meeting, right? And even after, people are trying to force chips on them, all these other things. It's great that we want to give suggestions, but what I find this to be is unsolicited advice. Okay. Yeah, it's great that we have this literature. Now I have it sitting over there. I have some literature, right? I got big books. I got that. But one person taking time for another person is where it fucking matters. So what do? You write down a bunch of numbers. Here you go. Here, call these numbers even though you don't fucking know us. Here you go. Gotta ask for help. I'm asking for help now. Well, here. I'm half tempted to go back to that meeting and chew their fucking asses. So I walked up and I said, I will be your sponsor. Actually, I didn't say that. I said, I'm going to be your sponsor. And everybody kind of ran. Yeah. You know, these elder statesmen and these bleeding deacons, man, I've kind of had enough. You know, we're at these meetings for solution. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety, not sit around on our ass and wait for people to ask us if we will sponsor them. Well, and I know my friends here, they don't do it that way. Because if you were, you'd leave right now because I would make you highly uncomfortable. It's incorrect. It's not right. We tried this shit. You know, so I'm going to read out I'm going to read Working with Others. You know what? I usually pull step 12 out of the big book. Let's go to the 12 by 12 on this one and let's get a different view. Okay. Because I don't want to repeat the same stuff. But yeah, man, it's, a piece of paper. Because what people are saying is, well, you need to ask for help. This is the way I see it. If somebody walks into an AA meeting, a place they don't want to go, they have walked through the blame, the shame, the doubt, and all the fucking bullshit, and we're going to make it hard. Oh, well, you got to ask for help. Okay. It's even worse kind of when you're a man. I need some help. Oh, that's great. Yeah. Why don't you go get some therapy? What, you can't take 3 minutes and talk with me, man? You know, the power of holding space for other people is what gives people fucking hope. Right? Just like the homeless. You know, people are, Jim Carrey says it the best. How would you feel if you were just sitting there, somebody comes up with a camera, puts it in your fucking face, and they invade your space so they can have likes and loves? And yeah, they're going to give you money or a meal or whatever, but that is an expectation. That is not altruistic. And then you're going to record it. Why do you need to record? Oh, so we can raise more money. No, that's not how this works. Then get out in your community and do it. Get out in your community and do it. No, you're just showing off. I just saw a post and somebody's trying to raise money for the recovery podcast. I don't understand that. Then that's not a recovery podcast. I'm sorry, but it's not. How much money have I ever asked any of you for? None. Step 12. And yes, it doesn't matter if you're newer or not, okay? Because any step with a 1 in it, you can work. That includes 1, 10, 11, and 12. Yep. Well, I'm new. Yep. And they'll probably understand you better than they will me. They will. Because I heard somebody in a meeting say, I think it was this morning or what, and when they said I'm still new, and so I can't 12 step. I don't know who told you that, but it's wrong. It's wrong. You know, I'm working with another person. They've been on their 5th step for 4 months because their sponsor isn't getting what they want. Spend an hour on the phone reviewing step 3. All right. The joy of living is the theme of AA's 12 steps, and action is the key word. Action is the key word. You want to know what works best for getting out of you? Go help someone else. Go help someone else. That's what it came down to for the person I was just talking to. See, They're stuck at home because of certain situations. Okay. It's hard to do service work when you're sitting at home. Is it? Is it? So I came up with some ideas. You know what do you know what they love doing? They love gardening. And I said, well, I got stuff coming up, and you can teach people how to grow their own food. She's like, what? I'm like, yeah, that's very much recovery in AA. It's very much. Oh yeah. Service work isn't just about telling your story, letting people know. Sometimes it's lending money. Sometimes it's giving a ride. I'm going to court with a friend on Tuesday so that they're not alone. I'm doing that because they are another alcoholic. It's the only reason I'm doing it. It's service work. Okay? I'm going to make them buy me lunch. Okay. And action is the key word. Here we turn outward toward our fellow alcoholics who are still in distress. What did it just say? Here we turn outward toward our fellow alcoholics who are still in distress. It did not say, here we sit in our AA meetings on our asses and wait for somebody to show up. That is not what it says. That's pretty fucking clear. Okay. You're not supposed to actually find your sponsees in the meetings. No, that's not how it works. You find them at detoxes, hospitals, jails, prisons, and then you sponsor them into the program, and you are a closed mouth friend. That's how it works. Faith without works is dead was my topic this afternoon. And isn't that freaking awesome coming from an atheist? Don't tell me it don't fucking work. You were saying a lot of what people shared on. I am so glad to hear that, Ingrid. I really am. Because I know the rest of the AA meetings outside of Colorado are much better. They are. Yeah. So I'm so happy to hear that, Ingrid. Thank you for sharing that. It gives me hope. It gives me hope that, yeah, what I'm saying is right. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. Here we experience the kind of giving that asks no rewards. In this case, who here is willing to be a sponsor? Me too. I agree, Ingrid. I have a lot of faith in the program. Absolutely. Yes, I do. So I'm still here. I know AA works. I know it works, right? So if you are willing to be a sponsor, and gee, thanks for being willing, even though in the 12th step it says it's the kind of suggestion where you should pull your parachute cord. Yeah. So let's say I put my phone number and so when I say that I am willing and that you have to approach me, what is that? Oh, that would be a reward. It's a reward. Oh, they asked me. I'm so important. Look how they asked me. If I did it that way, do you know how lonely I would be? No, but it is very rarely that somebody in the last 8 years, I think 3 or 4 people have asked me to be their sponsor, and it never works. They don't even show up to the first. They don't even show up to the first one. Because I tell them, I'm the last block in the house, man. I pick my sponsees because I'm listening. And if I hear the pain and I hear the right pain, and in this case, I knew no one was going to approach this man and tell them and do it the right way. And they scattered because I was doing it the right way, and they didn't want to get caught up in their own guilt and shame and shit. Okay? So be that person. I will make you fucking uncomfortable if you're not doing it right. It's not about comfort. Okay? This is hard shit. And we do it together so we're not so fucking lonely. There's no need for that. God's sakes, give somebody a frickin' hug. All right. I'm on a roll. I'm on a roll. Here we begin to practice all 12 steps of the program in our daily lives so that we and those about us may find emotional sobriety. When the 12th step is seen in its full implication, it is really talking about the kind of love that has no price tag on it. What that line very much has a price tag on it, doesn't it? Well, you got to ask. You got to ask for help. I wish I was capable of getting out and finding people at detox, but I'm just not capable of doing that. I have to catch them at a meeting because that's what I'm capable of doing. Absolutely. Okay. But may I suggest something? What's wrong with Zoom or a phone call? You can do it that way too. Call your local detox. Maybe you only need to go up there one time. I'll even let you use my Zoom. But think a little more forward, Ingrid. Okay. No, I'm not saying you're doing it wrong. What I'm saying is I'm not seeing what should be happening here, if that makes sense. So I'm not pointing a finger at you or anybody else. Okay. If you're not capable of doing it, that is something entirely different, honey. Okay. And you already know that if I thought you were screwing around, I would call you. If I don't call you, you're doing good. So, and thank you for doing everything that you do, Ingrid. Appreciate it. The thing is everybody can't do everything. So in that meeting, like with Ingrid, some people might be going out doing the 12-step work, bringing them back, but Ingrid runs the meeting and helps with this and helps with that. See, there's different ways to be able to do that, but we're talking 12-step in particular. So I'm running my mouth on that because I felt bad and I don't want to hurt Ingrid's feelings because she's my friend and I love her. Our 12th step also says that as a result of practicing all the steps, we each have found something called a spiritual awakening. This is different than a spiritual experience, in my experience. Yeah, thank you. See, you always put it better. You always put it better. And then Patricia follows it up. God will capable. Yeah, there we are. The main thing is you got to hear God and listen to his direction or whatever your higher power is in their direction. And you're doing that. So, excuse me, to new AAs, this often seems like a very dubious, improbable state of affairs. What do you mean talk about spiritual awakening? They ask. There's a lot of them. I will tell you this. God's not talking directly to you. It's not happening. Right? You might get an intuition, a thought, but always, I heard somebody saying earlier in the meeting, and God told me the fuck he did. You are not terminally unique. Sacrifice that bullshit and get in the group, man. Right? Because you got a newcomer over here listening to your bullshit. And they know you're full of shit too. Now they're not going to want the program. Attraction. Noon meeting I went to today. Oh, how's the weather there? How's the weather there? I'm like, it's 12:05. Let's have a meeting. By the time the meeting was open and ready for sharing, it was 12:20, and there were 20 people in the room. That's why you got to start on time. You got to stay consistent, or people will leave. Well, that's not my problem. The fuck it isn't. I will make it your problem. I'm kidding. You'll get to know me. But what do you mean when you talk about a spiritual awakening? You get to see the forest for the trees again. Grass becomes green. Somebody that you may dislike, now you can see that, but for the grace of God, there go you, and that they have a spiritual malady. You start to understand that everybody is a child of God and probably deserves a little bit of respect, maybe, or at least some space. The world isn't so cruel. Now that's cool. I love hearing that, because all the Colorado meetings, this is what you hear. Because everybody's too scared to say anything. I can feel the fear in the meetings. I'm doing what I can. That's why I started the grassroots. That's why I started it. There's 4 or 5 churches that want me to start AA meetings. I'm like, I'm too busy. I'll show you how, but I can't do it right now. But yeah, we do need them. We do. All right. So what else is a spiritual awakening? Understanding that love is kind of the answer, you know. But here's the trick. When love is the answer and you don't have any, what do you do? What do you do? Well, the answer is you throw yourself in the middle of the herd. But when there's no herd, it becomes a little difficult. And that's kind of what I was talking to this other guy about earlier. I'm half atheist, half spiritual. Just depends on my situation. I know you meant that seriously. We chuckle here and we laugh because we understand. Just so you know, that's why we laugh, because we understand that. You bet. You bet. Just like you walk into a meeting, you're like, I'm lonely, and everybody knows what you're talking about. Yeah. That's what brings hope in the program, right? It isn't the first 164 pages of the book that bring hope. It's the stories in the back. It's the stories in the back. People will often ask me, okay, I'm on third tradition. Which part is that? I'm like, the first 164 pages don't change. No, it's after that changes. That's all. There's a little knowledge stuff like that. But the hope is in the back. That's why we have the stories. Otherwise, this book would not be a big book. It would be that big. You fully agree with the person who said that? Yeah. 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 Ingrid is it atheist? If it's agnostic, I apologize if it's wrong. Has a great third step prayer. I love her third step prayer. So you can change it to fit your needs. That's what's cool. Yes, it does. It absolutely means service, Patricia. Yes. Okay. I guess let me rephrase it, if you'll allow me to do that, because I think I didn't present it right. When we see a person floundering in the meeting, just go take some time with them, for God's sakes. Stop handing them paper. Oh, there's phone numbers on there. Call them. You know how fucking heavy that fucking phone is? Okay? So you take 20 minutes with this person. Now they get to know you a little bit. They're more likely to call you. And now you have helped. Now you've done something. See, at the end of the day, I do things like that. My dividends at the end of the day, I'm full of joy and peace and love and everything else. But yet I'm an alcoholic. I have PTSD. I have anxiety and I have depression. I'm diagnosed with all of those. But I'm a free fucking man. And it's because I am willing to always take the extra step. I will. I don't always want to, but I'm willing. I prefer atheist, but I like to have spiritual turkeys. See? You never know when you're going to see how even though we are all from different walks of life, I mean, heck, Patricia's in a different country. She speaks a different language. English is her second language. But we can come here and we can agree on these things. We can help each other. Oh, well, I say it this way. Oh, well, that makes more sense to me. That is why it is important that you share your experience, because the way this person said it may not have been understood by this person over here, even though everybody else got it. Then it comes to you. You say it different. This person goes, ah. And then what happens? Now they're part of the group. Now they're part of the group. Okay. There should never be silence in an AA meeting unless everybody's shared and it's like 3-4 people. But there should never be silence. Okay. If you're running an AA meeting and nobody's saying anything and you don't like calling on people, make it a tag meeting and say it this way: I'm going to make it easy on myself. It's not my job to force you to fucking speak. Speak up. Claim your darn seat. I know it's hard. I had to do it too. By nature, I'm an introvert. Everybody here is an introvert, actually. Most of the people in the grassroots, well, they're introverts, man. We've been abused in AA. That's what I do. I find these meetings that are good, and I invite you to them because I know they're safe and I know that they will treat you with some fucking respect. And people trust me. So when I say, yes, this is a safe meeting, I think it's safe. You might not have the same experience. So, I got to be careful on that. I got to be careful because people, they're following me. And I do not want to lead anybody in the wrong direction. All right. I'm going to go a little bit further. I'm looking for something. Okay, I'm just going to, if you are following along, I forgot to do that, Ingrid. I'm sorry. Some people like to follow along. I'm going to be on page 124 next in the 12 by 12. And I'm probably going to do some reading from the big book too. I like to mix this stuff because the verbiage is a little different. Right? What do you say about the statistic that AA is only 10% effective? I would say stop utilizing Google for your answers. If only 10% made it, there'd be no AA. There'd be no AA. I will get the statistics. Remind me, please. Because I have to look at statistics. Colorado, I tell you now, Colorado is the worst state for mental health and addiction services. That's right. California, Florida, Texas, Oregon, they all have us beat now. But today, in well-matured AA, these distorted drives. Hey, Brian. I don't mind. I don't mind. There are times when I've wondered whether I was making any kind of effect. And this was probably 3-4 years ago, because I've been doing this every day for almost 7 years now. That's why I'm so comfortable, because not much has happened. Yeah. Colorado was the only state to not improve. Every other state improved. We fell by 4.6%. Okay. When I'm saying that Colorado is in danger, I wasn't fucking kidding. And I won't talk about a lot of stuff here. But anyway, I was talking to my wife, and I don't know how this came about. Michigan is the good one. Michigan is in the top 5. Kalamazoo is the shit. They are. They're good. Yeah. Weird, huh? Michigan used to be the worst. You know what? I steal a lot of my stuff from Michigan because they're doing it right. Why would you want to steal it? I was talking to the executive director of Colorado Consortium for Prescription Drugs, and I was complaining that they were spending our money unwisely, and we'll just put it that way. I was reporting, and now they're being investigated, but... And he said, what would you suggest? I'm like, you're fucking kidding me. I said, go look at the best states. I said, go look at Michigan and do what they're doing. Just go steal it. Ask them for permission. How about some public service announcements? How about the fact that you don't list AA in your resources at all? No 12-step stuff. It's all your crap, and your crap sucks. Yeah. The Office of Behavioral Health here, there's body brokers in that place. Yeah. Well, thank you, Brent. I appreciate that. Absolutely. So, I was pretty, this all started because of my PTSD, but that's another story. But I just didn't know if I was helping anybody because that number up there was 0 for days. For days. And nobody was showing up, and I feel so popular. And I was talking to my wife about it, and she said, Deanna, I'm not really supposed to tell you this, but I'll keep names out. There's a guy that's been in has been in work release trying to stay sober, and he listens to you every morning on the bus, and you're keeping him sober. I still don't know this person's name. I don't need to. I don't want to. I mean, I do want to. But I don't want to. Humility. And this program's anonymous. Now I find out I have probably the quietest following ever. Every time I turn around, there's somebody else saying, Dion, I know a bunch of people that listen to you. I'm like, but they don't say anything. I'm like, they don't, but you don't have to. You don't have to say anything here. You don't even have to say hello if you don't want to. It's not required. Why? Because why can I help people like that? Because I already have what I need. I don't need anything from you. Maybe a hug, compliment, encouragement, sure. Be my friend. If you want to do something for Dion, love me for who I am. Okay? Which is the same as you. Because it does get a little tough sometimes, because a leader doesn't mean you're up here and the everybody's here. That's not what that means. That's not what it means. And I don't even like saying followers, because that means that I'm not above anybody at any given moment for anything. Okay. I have a lot of experience, and there's this huge need in me to give it all away. Okay. And people are like, money. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Money. Let's open the house. What about money? God, have we had a problem with money before? No? Okay. All right. I haven't made a dime in years. I live in a 5-bedroom house in Northland and drive around a 2007 BMW. Mercedes-Benz. See? That's how much I care. God gave me that. I didn't pay for it. I don't know why it works. I don't have fear of economic insecurity. I don't know why. Probably because I've never really had anything. So this 5-bedroom house is too big. I would rather have a 2-bedroom house, nice and quaint, with nothing in it. Yeah. See? And that's what I am. Thank you, Patricia. See, you guys, and that's what I love about you guys. You always take it further for me. And thank you. I love hearing this. Sometimes I'm here without saying hello because I'm doing other stuff, like driving, taking a shower, cooking, and go on other stuff. It's quite often that people tell me, yeah, I put on your podcast when I go for trips. I just like your voice. Your voice is nice and calming. If I can do that for you, great. Great. Yeah. Yeah. Learn something new. I'm full of knowledge, And let me tell you, so my first AA, I was 14. Okay. I'm 54 now. I've been doing this for 35 years. Okay. Now, why am I telling you that? Because I still learn every day. I still learn something new. That's the only reason I'm telling you that. Okay. I'm at 8 years. I tell you this, I have more sobriety time than I did drinking time put together. Okay. All right. Still more wonderful. I'm going to get back to the book for a little bit. And I'm probably going to be here for a minute yet, because Something's working. It's helping. So, and this might be the only meeting somebody gets today. Still more wonderful is the feeling that we do not have to be specially distinguished among our fellows in order to be useful and profoundly happy. Oh. In fact, you'll be happier if you are not especially distinguished among your fellows, because what that'll do, it'll separate you. And then loneliness will hit. I go for trips a lot because I have a lot of things and people support outside my city. Yeah. Yeah. Trish is a rock star, man. Love it. Not many of us can be leaders of prominence, nor do we wish to be. I'm gonna tell you, I'm just gonna be honest. I love being the center of attention. I love it when it's good attention. I don't like the bad attention anymore. I love it. I'll tell you that. Right? But what I am not is a leadership of prominence. Well, you know what? I'd actually have to ask let's do this. What does prominence mean? What does prominence mean? Definition of prominence.
Here's the definition of prominence: the state of being important or famous.
Okay, so we were right on track, right? I don't want to be famous. I want to be infamous. That means my name will carry on. That means that the actions that I do today will carry on when I die. That's what that means. Yeah, financial insecurity is the one I still have trouble with. It's not that I want to more than, yeah, that's not, you're not being greedy. That's not it. It's that I still worry won't be able to make ends meet despite our best efforts. Yeah. I go through that a little bit, but I'm going to tell on myself here. My wife does that part and she doesn't want me in it. So that's partly why. It's partly why. A lot of people bring up that, Dion, you need to make money. You need to make money. And I certainly agree. Okay. Because I don't make money off of this. The lives, the podcast, the grassroots recovery, I will never make money off of. Ever. That would go against traditions. And I don't want to make money off of it. Because then it would turn into something else. If you paid me money, there's an expectation that I got to say what you want to hear. And that ain't going to happen. Okay. But these homes that I'm putting together, the detox, the treatment center, in about 3 years, I'm going to have enough money that I can go out and give it to other people because I don't really care. I'm sure my kids would appreciate that. Huh? I've already told my kids, you ain't getting shit from me. You got to make this on your own. It's, okay. But, Jordan Peterson says, the good parents are the ones that, say, you got to find this on your own, man. You got to do it. It's hard, but I believe in you. I believe in you. I think you can do this. All right. If it falls apart, you come back. I got you. But I want you to go out and try. And it's going to be hard and it's going to be worth it. Okay. And they'll believe me because dad's doing good. See, being a good example is the best joy in my life because I was a horrible example. I was. Not many of us can be leaders of prominence, nor do we wish to be. Service gladly rendered, obligations squarely met, troubles well accepted or solved with God's help. The knowledge that at home or in the world outside, we are partners in a common effort. The well understood fact that that in God's sight, all human beings are important. The proof that love freely given surely brings a full return. Oh, yeah, it does. It brings more than a full return. Your cup will overflow and it'll be love. The Beatles were right. Love is all you need. It's weird, but all right. Excuse me. The certainty that we are no longer isolated and alone in self-constructed prisons. The surety that we no longer be square pegs in round holes, but can fit and belong in God's scheme of things. These are the permanent and legitimate satisfactions of right living, for which no amount of pomp and circumstance, no heap of material possessions could possibly be the substitutes. True ambition is not what we thought it was. True ambition is the deep desire to live usefully and walk humbly under the grace. What is the grace of God? Well, your obsession was lifted. You're not the person stumbling down the street anymore. You're not passing out and coming to anymore. That is the grace of God. And it was given to you freely because you asked. But you got to mean it, or it ain't going to happen. Yes, I talk about this often. God relieved your obsession before you did any work. All right. Somebody asked about Maurice, what do you say about the statistic that AA is only 10% effective? All right. So I give it to you straight. About half make it. And that is fact. Now I can go through all these numbers with you, okay? But I can tell you this. I mean, even Ingrid and I, okay? Ingrid and I the other day, we were trying to figure out who wrote, and we thought we were right, but we were checking on it, right? And she was right. Bill wrote it, okay? Well, if you go, or who wrote Two Wives in the Big Book, right? If you go to Google, it says Lois wrote it. That is false. Stop depending on Google for the right answers. If you go look up the principles on Google, it is incorrect. The principle for step 9, it'll say forgiveness. And it's not, it's justice. And that is much different. Forgiveness happens in step 4 and 5. And do you really think that you're forgiving people? No, you're letting it go. You're accepting it. You can't forgive. You're not God. You're not God. You can't forgive. You think your forgiveness is going to buy their way into heaven or hell? that's, and I should rephrase that. That's how I feel about it. Okay. You may feel differently, and that's valid too, just so you know. So when it comes to percentages, the question is, do you want to be one? Do you want to be one? Because if we utilize statistics for our future endeavors, or what we might think is progress, okay, then we are comparing ourselves to other people, and that will not work ever at any time. Okay. It was like 5 years ago, this was going around for NA, Narcotics Anonymous. Only 2% make it. How could you have, so NA has millions of people in it. How did only 2% work? See, it doesn't. Yeah, and Maurice, it's a great question. It is. For me, there are no stupid questions, only silly answers. Okay. I love it when people ask questions because it means you fucking mean it. It means you're curious and you want more, right? Stats are just stats. One does have to be relying on oneself. Yeah, forget stats. This is a leave for speculation and failure. Yeah, it is. Well, how many people make it? Does AA really work? Go to the rooms and find out. I'm sitting right here. Okay, I'm a walking, talking fucking miracle. Everybody here is. Right? People that follow me have other mental illnesses, because I do. And they find comfort in the fact that I've gotten through them, and you can too. And I was fucked up. Right? I can't. The first couple of years I went live, I was just on Facebook. So those are gone. Okay. But there was one time I did a live. I was in the middle of an anxiety attack in front of the emergency room, describing what was going on with me, because I wanted people to know that they're not alone. And you're not alone. Not anymore. Right? If you're in it, If you have decided to become a member of Alcoholics Anonymous, you just gained 2 million friends. All right, I know what you thought. Fine, we'll call them acquaintances then. Right? Why does it feel like there's something else to say? I don't know what it would be because nothing's coming to me. I'll pull out the 12 by 12. I'm sorry, the big book, and we'll cover a little bit more. See, when I do this, I'm not entirely here. Like when I start preaching, if you ask me what I said, I'm going to tell you I don't know. I don't remember because I don't. Let's do. What I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to go to the end of working with others, and then we'll wrap up because it's Friday, and I'm sure everybody's got places to be, and yeah. All right. This is I don't think she's here, but I know she doesn't mind. This is one of Amber's favorites. See if she might even be here. Yeah, she might be. There's a couple people here that are quiet, and that's okay. Why sit? I'm gonna go back a little bit. Okay. In our belief, any scheme of combating alcoholism which proposes to shield the sick man from temptation is doomed to fail. A holiday. It's a holiday there? Which holiday? If the alcoholic tries to shield himself, he may succeed for a time, but he usually winds up with a bigger explosion than ever. We have tried these methods. These attempts to do the impossible have always failed. What are some things now that we do? Oh, let's see. There was a I forget what it was called, but if you took that med and drank, you would get violently ill. Now there's one out where it says it takes away the cravings, but I'm going to tell you what, that's not going to cure an obsession. That's not going to take away your obsession. You cannot change your mentality with a drug. It just, well, you can, but it'll be the wrong drug for the wrong mentality. Okay. There's a new thing called SoberLink. Okay. It's just a BAC machine hooked to the internet. And what you do is you blow in it 3-4 times a day, and then it sends it to all these people in your family to let them know that you're sober. That's not accountability. That's not accountability. That's stigma. That's stigma. That is not freedom. That is not joy. That is a requirement, and it will fail. It won't last. I've seen this shit before. There was somebody here that were trying to pass a law, and what the law was that only, like at Mile High Stadium, that like 2% or whatever percent of seats in a particular area was sober only. And I actually fought against that bill because in our belief, any scheme of combating alcohol which proposes to shield the sick man from temptation is doomed to fail. Did you know that I've gone to these things before? Even when I went to Billy Joel, people sitting next to us, they were drinking. I was able to help them because they had a person in their family that drank a lot. Now, I would have missed that opportunity if I would have been shielded by all the people in the sober area. Where's that alcohol going away? Right? If you try and do that, you might as well just put on a blindfold, shove your ears with cotton, and hide in the corner because you're going to go everywhere and there's going to be alcohol. You can't escape it. There's no escape. That's right. But as I said earlier, I need to stay abstinent to get my sanity back. No meds, but a lot of chocolate. Yeah. So I'm talking to people on detox on Monday, and the first thing I'm actually going to bring up is sugar. And they're gonna be like, I'm gonna be like, no, you support men, and this is this is what they're gonna, well, that's just gonna make them hyper, and I'm like, yeah, but you don't let them smoke, and you'll give them the patch. Well, that patch actually gives more energy than the sugar. See, the thing is, we're not just withdrawing from alcohol, we're withdrawing from sugar. You're an alcoholic? Oh, you're pre-diabetic. You're already pre-diabetic because of the sugar. Yes, the chocolate. Yeah. Nothing like a face of orange raised eyebrows. That's how it comes up. Thank you, though, Bren. And you always give me the shooting star one, too. I appreciate that. I'm like, oh, I'm a shooting star. Thanks. All right. So our rule is not to avoid a place where there is drinking if we have a legitimate reason to be there, for being there. That includes bars, nightclubs, dances, receptions, weddings. Are you ready? Even plain ordinary whoopee parties. We still don't know what a whoopee party is, but we're going to have one soon. To a person who has had experience with an alcoholic, this may seem like tempting providence, but it isn't. And why? Because we've given our lives and our will over the care of God. Right? I walk through hell on a daily basis. I have to if I'm going to meet these people where they're at, because they're in hell right now. I go walking in, there's the four hideous horsemen sitting over there. They're like, hey, Dion. Nobody fucks with me. No. In fact, they will scatter because I will walk through that unharmed. Yeah. And the more you do it, the more joy, the more freedom in your life, because it's what it's about. Freedom from the bondage of me. And that's horrible, right? Would you let anybody talk to you the way you talk to yourself? Oh, thanks, Bren. Thank you. All right. Dry drunk. Let's just go ahead and cover dry drunk, and then we'll be done. Okay. And it's not a syndrome. We don't have syndromes. What we are alcoholics. Okay. So don't listen to NADAC. Don't listen to SAMHSA. This is not an alcohol use disorder. It is not a syndrome. It is a mental illness that you were fucking born with. There you go. Okay. Dry drunk. Now, I'm not going to really talk about a dry drunk. This is what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about a drunk horse thief. You're going to be like, oh, man, but the drunk horse, we all know the drunk horse thief. No, you don't. No, because you stop, right? So, I have a drunk horse thief, and I get him sober. What do I have? I have a sober horse thief. Who's better at stealing horses? This person is going to continue stealing horses. The problem wasn't the alcohol. The alcohol is the thrill of getting away from stealing horses. That's the problem. Okay. Now, in the big book, they'll be better at stealing. It's better if they were drunk, because they wouldn't steal as many horses, and they'll be better at it too, and they won't get caught because they're not all. Right. See, it wasn't so much. It was the thrill of getting away with something, or it was us trying to fit in. Alcohol was never the problem. Okay. Now, in the book, there's a story in the first 164 pages about this man who was a businessman, and he saw that alcohol was interfering with his business. So he decided that he was going to quit drinking, okay, until he became successful in business. Well, he retired. Okay. And I think says he was bone dry for like 20 years. What a horrible experience. Okay. Now he retired and said, out came the carpet slippers. Within 2 months, he was in the hospital. In 4 years, he was dead. Why is this? Okay. Alcohol, and you've heard this. Alcoholism is a progressive disease. Alcoholism, not alcohol is a progressive disease. No. Okay. Just because you quit drinking doesn't mean your alcoholism isn't progressing. It's still progressing. Now, if you do nothing about it, like go to AA or Wellbriety or church or something to bring a higher power in, what you will be is a dry drunk. Yep. And if you ever drink again, bam, you'll go right back to where you were. Okay. A couple of other things. First of all, you were born with a high tolerance to alcohol, and the tolerance for alcohol does not decrease at any point. If you quit, let's say you could drink a 12-pack a night. You quit drinking for 20 years. It's still a 12-pack a night. It won't change. Your body has built up a tolerance. We alcoholics are different. An ounce an hour, not for alcoholics. That's for non-alcoholics. Okay? We don't call them normies here anymore because they don't like being called names. Surprising, isn't it? Right? Like alcohol use disorder. It's just another fucking name. No, alcoholic. In fact, I'd rather stick with drunk. Thanks. All right. So, as if that insanity is not interrupted, then it will continue. You don't need alcohol in you to be crazy. You don't. You can do it all by yourself. What alcohol did is it lowered your inhibitions and you acted that way. It was a solution, not a problem. All right. I think 57 minutes is good. That's a full hour. And my brain's getting ready to pop. I've had to do a lot of thinking today. So, but you know what? I know of at least 2 people that are going to have a better day just because I decided to spend some time with them. And you know what it cost me? Nothing. And you know what I got out of it? Everything. Isn't that cool? Yeah. All right. Thank you everybody for being here. It's good to have you all. We got some I don't want to say newcomers, but new to kind of hear. Brent, it's been great to have you. Maurice, good to see you, brother. Patricia, as always. Ingrid. I think we had some other people hanging out, which is great. You're always welcome here. So thank you everybody for being here. I love you. You know I do.